Good morning, everybody. I'm Coach Tom. Welcome to my channel, Creating Your New Reality. I'm a self-actualization coach. What that means is that I help people cultivate, develop, and then express their true authentic selves in the areas of their personal development, their careers, and their relationships. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, I want to welcome you to Wisdom Wednesday. That's when you'll be seeing this video. It's going to go live on Wednesday. Now, you always wonder, like, how do we get certain names of things? Why are days of the week named what they are? And if you look at Wednesday, you could Google this, look it up. Don't take my word for it. But Wednesday comes from Woden's Day or Odin's Day. And Odin, as we know, was the Norse god of wisdom, magic, and victory. Okay, now I like those three things. I don't know about you, but I think wisdom, magic, and victory are pretty kick-ass. So if you want some victory, if you want some wisdom, let's have it. So that's why I'm calling today Wisdom Wednesday. I wanted to take just a topic, I think, that's key to somebody's self-development and self-understanding. And I'll talk about it. I'll show you how I apply it in my life. Hopefully you can data mine your life, find something similar for you as well, which is why I do these kinds of things. So without further ado, I wanted to bring up a question. Do you know who defines you? Okay, defining, as we know, is what does something mean? What are you? Who are you? And one of the things that I had happen in my life was I basically was coming up in the world, and I was one of those kids that I didn't really know what was going on. I really felt that everybody in the world knew what was going on, and I didn't. I always felt, if you've ever heard that old saying, a day late and a dollar short, that was me. I was the kid that had to be sent home with a note pinned to his shirt so he would not forget his address. Okay, that kid really existed, and that was me. So anytime I got around people that had a stronger personality than what I did, and that was pretty much everybody, they would tell me things about me, okay? And I assumed that since they were, making these pronouncements about me, that they were somehow qualified to do that, okay? And I didn't really question it. I just assumed that, you know what, when your parents tell you that you're shy, or they say, you know what, you're just off in your own little world, you're not going to amount to anything, all these things, you tend to really personalize that and you believe it. One big thing that was a driving force in my life was, if you notice, I got the lazy eye happening here. If we are standing nose to nose, it's really going to look like I'm looking over your shoulder, okay? And I've had people that don't know me kind of look over like, what are you looking at, Tom? And it just is, okay? I wasn't eligible to have the operation to make it straight or whatever, so really it is what it is. I don't even notice it anymore. But I'll tell you what, when I was a kid, boy, did I notice it. Was I made aware of it like 24/7, okay? So what I did was I defined myself by what other people were telling me, okay? That number one, that I was ugly. Okay, that I was really defective, that I was made wrong, okay? And you hear these things every day, and even people that are well-meaning, or maybe not so well-meaning, but you know how family is, they pick on you for whatever. So you just assimilate this, and you just take it on, and you take it on, and before you know it, it's kind of like living in a fish tank, where, the fish doesn't really know the water is super toxic until it is deceased and it goes to fish heaven or whatever, and it really never even knows what hit it, okay? And I really didn't know what hit me. I didn't realize how much it affected me until I got older, and I really decided to try to do things on my own and for myself. I tried playing baseball. Boy, that was a mess. I mean, with this thing, I couldn't even see a baseball. I was like the strikeout king, and that was pretty horrible. I just wanted to play ball with my friends, and it turned into this really massive ordeal. So athletic things were sort of out. So I tended to choose a lot of activities that were very solitary. But I always believed that, I couldn't do anything else. I just, I suck at everything I touch because I can't see any way. Why try? So it was like this layer cake of shit, okay, where it was just one thing after another. And what was really interesting was, I had always had a very, very deep love for martial arts. And I wanted to do it, but I didn't ever believe in myself because of the things I was carrying around. I defined myself as defective. I defined myself as being less than. And my first few years taking karate lessons, that attitude manifested itself. Boy, I turned it into a negative experience because I called it into a negative experience into being, okay? I believed that everyone was out to get me. I was going to be pushed beyond my limits. I'm uncomfortable. This sucks. All these things because I had such a limited belief system. So now, fast forward to today, I hold a black sash in 2 distinct systems in Filipino martial arts. I also practice Indonesian Silat and also Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. I also teach. Okay, so at some point, how did I get here? Okay, at some point, I didn't let other people define me any longer. Okay, I had to, Neville Goddard talks about assuming a state. Okay, assuming the end state. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And one day I had to get really serious about myself. And I said, you know what, Tom? A lot of things in your life have turned to shit because A, you made it turn to shit because you couldn't control your emotions. And you also let it turn to shit because you stood there and wouldn't take control of your own life. And it all turned to shit. So what do you want to do? And I thought about it. And at that time, I didn't realize exactly what I was doing. But I said to myself, I want to be a martial artist. I want to be, and more importantly, it wasn't that I just wanted to be a martial artist, but I wanted to be taken seriously as a martial artist. I wanted to walk into the dojo and look like I belonged. I wanted to walk into a place, fit in, okay, and actually be friends. Unlike the days of baseball games where people would walk up to me and even the coach would say, well, you should have just stayed home because you suck. Okay, I wanted to get out of that, and I wanted to walk into a situation where I was welcomed with open arms. I was a part of the crew. I was a part of the team. I was a leader. Okay, I wanted desperately to be in a place where I could plug in and do something I loved and be good and have it be real. Okay, I never like to be seen as being part of some Hire the Handicapped initiative. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but I'm 53 years old. Fuck it. That's how I talk. Now, at some point, I had to decide that those people did not define me. My detractors when I was in school days, they couldn't tell me what to do anymore. They were not allowed to tell me who I was. Okay? My parents were not allowed to have influence over me. Okay? I had to tell them that, you know what, you're not going to talk to me like that anymore. And I also started changing my life and living to where people were less and less likely to talk to me like that. So it was kind of a double-edged sword. But again, I would not allow anyone to tell me who I was. As a matter of fact, I've got an ex-wife out there running around who a reason she is an ex was she was not allowed to define me anymore. Okay. I had a couple of hard knocks, a couple of pretty bad setbacks in my life not too long ago. And you know what? You are not allowed to call me a failure. You're supposed to be there to support me, and you weren't there. Instead, you changed, and it got ugly. So you know what? You're fired. I'm not putting up with that. Okay. Nobody is allowed to define me but me. So where I'm going with this, guys, is I want you to think, who defines you? Okay. Think of the negative connotations and negative beliefs you have about yourself. Who put those there? Okay. Were you told at some point that you were an underachiever? Were you told at some point that you have difficulty learning new things? Were you told at some point that you were ungainly, or was it a bit more sinister? Was love and support withheld from you if you didn't act a certain way? Okay, and when you acted like you were you called names? Well, you're just a bitch. Well, you're an asshole. You're this, you're that. You're always a fuck up. Did you change your behavior to try to make other people like you that weren't even capable of liking or loving themselves? Okay, that's another more insidious way that we let other people define us. Okay, people come at us with all kinds of crazy shit, so we start going through all these mental gyrations and emotional gyrations to get them to like us, and we get so far off of our own center. But that's how you just totally go off the freeway into the weeds of people pleasing. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a later video. So I want you to think about who defines you. Now, if you're one of those lucky people, okay, whose parents told you good things about yourself and you grew up believing that you could accomplish anything, and you got people in your life that make you feel like Superman, and more importantly, if you are that person where every day you don't need anybody else to tell you that you're Superman because you tell yourself that you're Superman or Supergirl, we're not sexist here, if you can do that yourself, then you know what, you don't necessarily need what I'm teaching right now, but please understand, okay, it is a hell of a guiding force in other people, okay? So sometimes the problems you have with people is because their GPS is faulty and they're just bouncing off everything that you can think of, hitting every pothole that they see, and you're just in their way, okay? It's not personal. So that's something else to look at. But again, I want you to think about who defines you, and why do you think a certain way about yourself? And is it healthy? Does it carry you towards your goals, or does it retard you from achieving your goals? Does it keep you away? Sometimes our self-belief is like a parachute that's opened up, that's on our backs. We're running down the road, and all it's doing is pulling us back, and you're never going to get anywhere that way. All right, so that's what I've got today, guys. Thank you so very much. I hope I hit a raw nerve. I hope I hit something deep and ugly within your childhood. That way you look at it, okay? I love you guys. I want you to be yourselves, and I want you to be blessed, and I want you to be self-actualized. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.